Everybody likes to go out partying from time to time, but when you wake up in a place you don't recognize, well, you start to wonder what happened last night, even more so when you go to look at yourself in the mirror and have no reflection. Sounds like a hell of a party, and it's just starting.
What's that? You want to be scared? Come with me. You will experience tales of horror, ghosts, and death. It is not recommended for the weak at heart. Listen in the dark. It's more fun that way. This is Weekly Spooky.
Hello, my spookies. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for a little spooky in your weekly. I'm your host and narrator, Enrique Couto, and we have quite a scary one today. We're heading back to Strickfield, and things are getting a little hairy. In some ways literally, and in some ways figuratively. But before we get to that, I just want to say thank you all so much for listening to the program. I hope you're subscribed. And if you aren't, please head over to your favorite podcasting app like Apple Podcasts or Spotify and make sure you are subscribed. And while you're there, why not leave a 5-star rating? It makes a big difference and brings lots of new spookies to the show. And if you want even more fun times with the other spookies, go over to Facebook and type in Weekly Spookies Tomb of Terror. It's a Facebook group where we all hang out and talk about funny and scary things, share memes, share stories, and just have a lot of fun and make new friends. I'm always on there along with many of our weekly spooky authors. It costs absolutely nothing to join, and we'd love to have you. And if you want to support us in a much more direct way, well, you can go to weeklyspooky.com and click on store. We have all kinds of cool merchandise and clothing to help you get through the impending winter months. Or you can click on Patreon, and for as little as $1 a month, get a bonus story and other exclusive perks like video podcasts, personal updates, and a lot more. And I want to mention that very soon we'll be announcing some kind of change to the Patreon that I think you're really going to like. We're going to start publishing an exclusive Strickfield series, only on Patreon, but those details are not ready yet. So, it's time to kick back and prepare yourself for tonight's story after these quick words. Newborn by Rob Fields. You feel like you've slept for the longest time. You're starting to move a little as you yawn and open your eyes. Then you sit up and see it's dark around you. Funny enough, in spite of the darkness, you can see everything perfectly. Through your disorientation, you determine it must be a full moon tonight, and don't bother looking outside. Then it starts coming back to you. The night before. You smile a little at how your friend, Wendy Chappell, brought you to an underground college party. You don't even go to Strickfield University, yet your BFF was able to get you both invited. You never asked her how, but you were really grateful. You just wanted somewhere where you could show off the new green dress that fits your shapely body. You even bought a new pair of platform sandals to go with it. You smile even more as you remember you drank quite a bit as you danced non-stop to the loud house music. You remember feeling so drunk that it was liberating. That was when that handsome boy approached you and tore up the dance floor alongside you. You certainly did a lot of bumping and grinding, something you never could have done at Strickfield High School dances. No, not with Principal Matthew Van Diest looking to give you hell if you were caught. You remember the boy brought you to this very room and to this very bed. You remember the two of you had some incredible sex. You told your boy that you never wanted this night to end. You wished that the night would just last forever. Eventually, you finally succumbed to exhaustion and fell asleep. Now you're awake after sleeping who knows how long. You can't even find your smartphone or a clock. You look down to see if you can find your new sandals. You groan in frustration when you can't even find your purse. You decide to just go on home and see what's going on. What else can you do without much of anything, right? You walk downstairs and out into the night. As you look around and see it's really a deserted house on a deserted township road, you begin to wonder if a college party really took place here. As more of your disorientation clears, you remember everything that happened in every room as you walk out to the road. You recognize the road immediately and know you're going to have to walk a good 2 to 3 miles to get back to your house in the village. Feeling really good about yourself, you walk the road wearing just that form-fitting green dress. It's then when you finally see the moon and realize it's a new moon. Yet you can see in the dark just perfectly. Eventually you reach your house and see the lights are out. You figure it must be late and know your parents and your baby sister are sleeping soundly. Fortunately for you, you know where the spare key to the back door is. You find it, open the screen door, and unlock the inner door. Well, that was easy enough. After replacing the key, you enter the house. Or at least, you try to. The door is wide open, but you just can't walk inside. It's as though some invisible force is preventing you from entering the house. You can't even reach inside to pull the back door shut again. You even try to run inside only to be knocked down on your sexy ass. As you're wondering just what the hell is going on, you see your little sister standing there with a cup in her hand. The little girl couldn't sleep because she'd gotten thirsty. "Will you come in here and give me some water, Eliza?" she asks you. You get back to your feet and feel for the invisible barrier again, but it's no longer there. You can enter your house freely again. You take your sister's cup and get her much-needed cold water. You watch Clara drink her fill before you top her off and walk her back upstairs to her bedroom. After you put Clara back in bed, you decide to go into your own room. You sit down at your computer and wake it up. After entering your password, you check your messages. Wendy Chappell messaged you on Facebook and told you she has your missing items. She said you were so out of it and couldn't be woken up, that she took your stuff so no one would steal it. What would you do without Wendy? You type your reply and get one back almost immediately. You remember Wendy's just as much of a night owl as you. Aside from the college parties she scores invites to, how many late hours did you both spend at Denoyer's Grill? Wendy tells you to come on over. After you finish chatting with Wendy, you find that letter you got a few months ago and read it again. This very letter that was written on age-old paper, changed your life once you found out everything it said, was true. It was because of this letter that you stopped caring about everyday things and focused more on the nightlife. It was as if this letter had found its way to you at just the right time. You hide the letter again and go to get another pair of shoes out of your closet. Upon opening the door, you gasp. You see the full-length mirror inside your door, but it's what you're not seeing that's really got you horrified. Your reflection. You gaze deep into your mirror, even though you can still see in the dark perfectly. You go and turn on your light on impulse. Then you return to look in the mirror again. Still nothing. All you can see are whatever parts of your bedroom are reflecting in the mirror. But you can't see yourself whatsoever. Not even your sexy green dress appears in the mirror. You're starting to think maybe you're having a wicked hangover. You did drink plenty of mixed drinks that tasted so fruity. You also saw some other partiers vaping and getting high. Maybe you vaped with them and just don't remember. You shake your head. No, you feel just fine. In fact, better than fine. But now you're starting to feel hungry. You turn off the computer and the light before leaving your bedroom. You make your way downstairs to the refrigerator and open it to see some yummy leftovers. Good old Mom. You pick up a fried chicken leg and tear into it. You only chew a couple of times before you quickly open the trash can and spit it out. You sniff the fried chicken. It smells divine. Somehow it's the most horrible thing you've ever eaten. You throw it away and grab some cheese. Again, you spit it in the trash. You're frustrated now and grab the bottle of red wine inside the door. You open it and drink it. It doesn't taste too bad. In fact, you're finishing the remaining half of the bottle. Might as well go to Wendy's with a little buzz going, right? However, you're really not feeling anything of the sort. Suddenly, the light comes on. You turn and see your father, who seems very annoyed with you. "What are we going to do with you, Elizabeth?" he demands. "You stay out all hours of the night. You don't care about school anymore. What are you planning to do with your life? Drink and party all night?" He sees the empty wine bottle in your hand. "Looks like you're off to a good start." Then he points right at you. "I don't know what's gotten into you. You used to be such a good kid. Now your mother and I don't even know you anymore." The more your father continues to yell at you, the more you become angry. You love your new party lifestyle. You love the nightlife. You've never been more free in your entire life, and now your father wants to take all that away from you. At the same time, you're feeling so incredibly hungry. Suddenly, you roar as you snatch up your father and sink your long fangs into the side of his neck. He cries out as your mouth fills with his blood. It's absolutely the most delicious thing you've ever tasted. When your father falls to the floor, you quickly get on top of him and drink from him again. You hold his arms down to keep him from fighting you off. You savor every gulp as you keep drinking until you finally drained him dry. You sit up and lick your lips. You know your face is a mess. Dad's blood was so delicious, in fact, you wouldn't mind having some more. Then you remember your mother and Clara are still upstairs. Without a second thought, you stand up and make your way upstairs. You walk back out into the night after cleaning yourself up. Fortunately, you didn't get any blood on your green dress. You still haven't changed out of it. Why should you? This dress got you lots of attention. It even got you laid. Now you just need to go to Wendy's place and get the rest of your stuff. Knowing Wendy, she'll likely want you to stay and hang out with her. You have to cross Village Cemetery in order to get to Wendy's apartment on the other side. Remembering you're now, apparently, a vampire, you easily jump over the wall and land on the soft grass on the other side. You begin your walk through the foggy tombstones. The wet grass feels wonderful on your still bare feet. Just the same, you can't wait to reclaim your things from Wendy, including your platform sandals. Suddenly, you feel something very sharp hit your shoulder. You cry out in both surprise and pain when you see whatever it was that struck you makes you bleed. You look over your shoulder and see 3 male figures coming at you. They've all got crossbows and other mean weaponry. "The vampire's over here!" you hear one of them yell. "I grazed her with mistake!" Knowing they mean to kill you, you run. Even though you have great night vision, it's still hard for you to run barefoot on wet grass. Soon you make it to a big tree and hide behind it. You can easily hear them talking about how to kill you. You realize maybe jumping over the cemetery wall wasn't such a hot idea after all. On impulse, you start catching your breath. Actually, what breath? You remember you're undead now and don't breathe. You hear your pursuers almost upon you and run for it. Even though you're a vampire, you still feel scared. You've already died once. You don't want to die a second time and end up staying dead, never knowing the nightlife again. You know you're strong and powerful, but you don't know what powers you have or how to tap into them. "Over here, she's getting away!" one of them yells to his friends. "Stake that fucking bitch!" another one cries. You've heard stories about ghosts, werewolves, ghouls, and other things that prowl the night from different girls when you were invited to sleepovers. Even Wendy Chappell had stories to share, including ones about vigilantes who hunted the night creatures like you. She also shared a story about a unique master vampire who hunted and destroyed your kind. That same master vampire also walks in the daylight. You cry out in pain as you feel a stake in your upper right shoulder. You're able to grasp the pointy end and yank it clean out. You're royally pissed off as you turn to face your pursuers. You throw the stake right at them, making them hit the grass. "Leave me alone!" you scream. You turn and run again. This time, you reach the blacktop and can put some distance in between you and the vigilantes. You reach the opposite wall and jump over it. Those bastards won't catch you in a hurry now. You can also see your wounds are completely healed. Unfortunately, your new favorite dress couldn't do the same thing. "Shit," you mutter. You finally make it to Wendy Chappell's apartment at Strickfield Cove. As you're about to ring her doorbell, it opens. "Hey, baby," Wendy cheers, so happy to see you again. You and Wendy share a brief hug before she invites you inside. Then you remember from earlier that you needed to be invited. At least that part's out of the way. Wendy sees your damaged dress. "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. You really loved that dress." You're ready to tell her about those vampire hunting vigilantes who were hunting you, but you stop when you realize Wendy doesn't know. You don't want her to be terrified of you and revoke her invitation. Wendy takes your hand. "Come on, let's get you cleaned up and something else to wear." You let Wendy bring you to her bathroom. "Go ahead and take a shower. I'll get you something to put on." She watches you undress. She's seen you naked before, so you don't think anything of it. You hand her the tatters of your dress and walk to the shower.
You're not safe yet. Weekly Spooky will be right back.
Wendy sees you standing naked in her bedroom doorway. She hands you a bright red dress that almost resembles that beautiful green one you lost. The dress fits you perfectly. "Keep it," Wendy tells you. "Thanks, babe," you say. Wendy points to her nightstand where the rest of your things are. You thank her for keeping them safe. Even your smartphone is working just fine, especially since Wendy charged it just for you. Wendy asks you to sit on the bed with her. "Do you remember anything, Eliza?" You tell her what you remember about your involvement with the college party at that house just outside the village. You add how you woke up in that house just a few hours ago, then check your phone again. 2 days? You look at Wendy. "I've been at that house for 2 days?" "Well, you were pretty drunk," Wendy reminds you. "Those drinks those college guys made were high octane. You were chugging them like they were water." You remember something else. "I got laid." "You sure did," Wendy confirms. You don't know what else you can confide in Wendy about. The only other thing you can remember is that you fell asleep with that hot guy you'd had sex with. When you woke up, you were all alone in that house. "Can you remember anything else?" Wendy asks. "I don't think so." You lie, not wanting to tell her you were also sired by a vampire. But then you gasp when you're both looking into the full-length mirror in her walk-in closet. Neither of you are casting a reflection. You look at Wendy and see her fangs and red eyes. "Wendy?" you utter. "You're just like me now, babe," she purrs. "I heard you tell our master you didn't want the nightlife to ever end. Now it won't. We can party for the rest of eternity." "Wendy, I have to know," you say. "Did you turn me?" She shakes her head. "Our master sired you. I begged him to sire you so we could continue to party together. We don't ever have to be alone again, Eliza." "Master?" you ask. Then you both hear the doorbell. "That's him," Wendy says. "Put your shoes on." You obey Wendy and then you both answer the door. You see the boy you had sex with at the party, who sired you. He's got another girl on his arm. "Good evening, master," Wendy purrs. She turns to you. "Eliza, this is Abergast." She points to the other girl. "And this is Eleni, his first bride." You watch Arbogast kiss Eleni, and then Wendy. You hesitate when he wants to kiss you, but you let him anyway. Then Eleni tells you, "Dracula had 3 brides. Arbogast is our master, and we're his 3 brides. Welcome to our family, love." You wanted so much to be a part of this wonderful nightlife that Wendy introduced you to. You loved all the parties and the sinful pleasures, but now you're wondering if you've maybe gotten way in over your head. Wasn't it supposed to be about dancing, drinking, doing some drugs, and enjoying lots of sex? It was supposed to be about total freedom. That's what Wendy first told you that sold you on the nightlife. She never said anything about you becoming one of the undead or being involved in a kinky foursome relationship. Wendy takes your hand. "Babe, lighten up. I know you've got lots of questions. It's okay. The nightlife belongs to us for as long as we want. We play by our own rules. I get maybe you're a little scared, but we'll teach you. You're gonna love your new life. I promise." The more you see the others mingling with each other, the more you're thinking maybe this might not be so bad. So you decide to go along with them. At least, for now. The 4 of you have been making the scene at many underground clubs and parties. You meet other vampires along the way. You've learned so much from your foursome during your time with them. You can't be out during the daytime anymore, and you have to sleep in a coffin lined with your native soil inside. You even have to get hot and sexy with the others from time to time. However, you get to keep experiencing the nightlife. What's more, you get to stay young and beautiful. Forever. Arbogast brings all of you to an underground club in Strickfield's abandoned rail yards called the Club After Midnight. Arbogast brought all of you here to celebrate your being a vampire for a full year. He has taken great care of all 3 of you. He's always given you 3 brides, the best of everything. All well and good as long as you finally get your heart's desire. You don't think about that at the moment as Arbogast brings the 3 of you into a special room he's reserved just for your party. There are 2 mortals secured over your table. Since being sired, you have no reservations about drinking from mortals. After all, that's the single most important thing that keeps the nightlife going for you and the others. Arbogast wraps his arms around you. "You get the first drink, Eliza. I already gave these parties to Eleni and Wendy when they reached their first years. This is all for you tonight." You share a kiss with him before you smile at the delicious meal your master has placed before you. You leave his side and move to the boy. The girl screams for you to leave him alone, but you've become so wicked and cold towards your former race that you relish in their suffering. The girl's screams are music to your ears as you sink your fangs into her boyfriend and drink. His blood tastes delicious. You feel your body come to life more as you feed. You still miss eating cheeseburgers from Denoyer's Grill sometimes, but the blood is the life. After you finish with the boyfriend, you invite the others to enjoy what you didn't take. Now you have the girlfriend all to yourself. You give her an evil, bloody smile as you peck her lips before you savor the taste of her blood. You drink her very slowly to prolong her suffering. Even though you hate being one of Arbogast's brides, he's really made you appreciate the nightlife that much more. You have a much stronger bond with Wendy. You even get along with Eleni. You don't ever have to follow mortal society's rules ever again. You never have to care what kind of lies your former mortal government will tell you. You are truly free of those mortal bonds. You find yourself wishing you had received that letter much sooner. Better late than never, right? You finish drinking the girl when she finally dies. Again, you let the others have what's left. You lick your lips and fangs in satisfaction. Arbogast has educated you so much during your first year. He's taught you everything you need to know. All you have to do is watch for hunters who are looking to end you. You especially need to be on your guard when it comes to the greatest threat to your people, Bella Tabon. You especially hate her because she can walk in the daylight, and you can't. She also has none of your weaknesses. She's the one vampire who is truly free. You share kisses with your family as they honor you more for surviving your first year. Then you return to the dance floor and shake your body to the music with Wendy as Arbogast has some alone time with Eleni. As you bump and grind with Wendy, you allow yourself to be taken in by her charm again. How many times have you been intimate with just Wendy? How many times has she been there for you? You and Wendy dance the night away, sharing kisses with each other. Eventually, Arbogast and Eleni return for the two of you. It's getting to be that hour when the club after midnight is ready to close. It's going to be dawn in a little while. The four of you leave and return to your humble little abode at Strickfield Cove. The four of you enter the apartment. You make sure the door is locked tight. Then all of you make your way to your coffins to lay down and sleep the day away. As you lay in your coffin, you're being patient. You're about to execute the first stage of your plan very shortly. You've been planning for a very long time, calculating everything with each step you'll take. And now the time has finally come. You know you've got more than enough time to do what you need to do. You open your coffin and come back out. You easily move along the floor in your bare feet and pull down the special ultraviolet shade over the window you secretly installed. The curtains give all of you enough protection from the sunlight, but you're not taking any chances. You go to the one other bedroom and pull down the ultraviolet shade there too. You find the bottle you stashed in the back of the closet and get naked. You start rubbing the contents of the bottle all over your body, making sure you don't miss a single spot. You even wet your hair with the liquid. When you've finished, you put your dress back on. Now that you're fully ready, you drop and pull out the small bag containing a stake, a hammer, and a very sharp hacksaw. You open the first coffin in front of you and see Arbogast, your master, sleeping soundly. You smile coldly and waste no time in hammering the stake through Arbogast's heart, freeing you from both his control and influence. He opens his eyes just enough to see the face of his betrayer. He tries to reach up for you, but you've weakened him severely. He gives you that look as if asking you for a reason for your betrayal as you bring the hacksaw down to cut off his head. Once you've severed it completely, Arbogast's body begins disintegrating and turning to ash. Next, you move to Elnie's coffin and open it. You've already got your next tools ready to go. It's true that Eleni has always treated you with kindness. For some reason, though, you've harbored so much hatred for her. Was it because she liked to wear your clothes without asking? Was it because she was Arbogast's favorite out of the three of you? Was it perhaps because she was just too nice to all of you for her own good? No. It's because you are truly an evil being. You've allowed your hatred to soothe you. You've allowed it to guide you. You relish your hatred. You feel it seemingly energize your blood. You've never felt so excited as you open Elnie's mouth and use a glove to stick a big bulb of holy water-soaked garlic in her mouth and tape it shut. As she screams her muffled screams, you open 2 big jugs of holy water and pour them all over her. Her body bursts into flames easily. You quickly close the coffin lid and hold it down to keep her from getting out. You smile with such evil until you no longer feel Eleni fighting inside. You open the lid back up and see where the flesh burned away. Her head is still on fire from the garlic. You take the stake and put an end to Eleni once and for all. You even chop off what's left of her burning head just to make sure. 1 to go. You get to your feet and creep out into the hallway. You lick your fangs when you can practically taste Wendy's impending death. You can't wait to finally destroy Wendy and be on your own. But didn't Wendy help nurture you after you were sired? Didn't she always keep you company so you'd never be lonely? Remember, she was the one who introduced you to the nightlife you'd come to love and relish so much. So fucking what? You've grown so evil over your first year as a vampire that your hatred has made you lust for Wendy's death as well. You want ultimate power. You'll ultimately get it with each year that you continue to be a vampire. You'll have to live a great many years to become a master vampire and gain that ultimate power. You read that in your studies. You even know your true family legacy. Your name is Elizabeth Gillian. You're the last descendant of the most powerful master vampire there ever was. Was as in the past tense. That was until Thornton Gillian finally met his end at the hands of Bella Tabon back in 1888. Thornton's powerful blood had mixed with Bella's pure Tabon blood and transformed her into the ultimate master vampire. You want ultimate power like Tabon's. Thanks to Thornton leaving you his vast fortune and the artifacts of vast magics he had collected over the years, you can truly become a powerful vampire. Meeting Arbogast wasn't just a case of you being a dumb bitch who wanted to party and get laid. You had planned this, every single bit of it. Except now, your plan has taken a slight detour. You're now looking right at Wendy, who's out of her coffin and looks very angry. She knows what you've done. She knows what you intend to do to her. Why? She demands. We were a family, Eliza. I went along with your fucking shit for a full year, you explain. Now I have my first real powers. I've cemented my roots as a vampire. Newborns can be returned to mortal if their sire is killed within that first year. I read all about it. Today was the day I became a full-fledged vampire. And now, I claim my freedom to continue my true family's legacy. You could have just left, Wendy yells. You shake your head slowly. Arbogast would never have let me go, so I took my freedom. I killed him and his prized Eleni, and now I'm going to kill you. I never did anything to you, Wendy protests. You were my best friend. I loved you. You smirk coldly. You know, maybe if you had sired me, not Arbogast, maybe I would have been loyal to you. Maybe I would have learned to love you. To be honest, having sex with you was a great tension reliever. You tighten your fists. But I fucking hated having sex with all of you. Still, I did what I had to do to make it to my first full year. Now, it's on to claiming ultimate power. Once I destroy you, then I'll bide my time and build my power. One day I'll finally be powerful enough to destroy Bella Tabon for killing every vampire in my bloodline. And all it took was receiving that ancient letter from my ancestor, Thornton Gillian, to set me on my destiny. Wendy vamps out and extends her claws. I'll kill you for what you've done to Arbogast and Eleni. You both circle each other until you stop right by the window. I think you're forgetting just one teensy-weensy little thing, Wendy, dearest. Before she can react, you quickly throw open the drapes and yank the ultraviolet screen away. Sunlight fills the entire living room. Wendy has nowhere to run. Technically, neither do you. However, using that special sunblock potion you made from one of Thornton's magic books has made you fully protected from the sunlight for a full day. In fact, you can stand in full sunlight and relish Wendy screaming as she catches fire and burns to death. Truly, sunlight is not very kind to vampires in the least, aside from Bella Tabon. You finish watching Wendy burn until there's nothing left but ashes. Truly, you have embraced your evil. Thornton Gillian would have been so pleased with you. You have nothing left to stop you now. You've destroyed your vampire family and claimed your freedom. You have ultimate power awaiting you, and one day you will be ready to face Bella Tabon and avenge the death of the greatest ancestor in your family tree. You are Elizabeth Gillian, and the supernatural world will know and fear your name soon enough, especially once you, the last pure-blooded Gillian, have claimed the last pure-blooded Tabon. It's all part of your master plan, and you literally have all of eternity to accomplish it. And Bella Tabon will never, ever see you coming until it's too late. Well, I have to say, since our very intense Halloween season, it seems like things are heating up for our favorite hapless vampire hunter, Bella Tabon. I can only imagine how this will progress over the coming months, but I can tell you spookies one thing. Bella has a lot coming down the line, so make sure you stay tuned. In fact, you might be surprised just where things are headed. I know I am. Oh, I'm so excited, and at Christmas time we're going to be releasing a bunch of extra episodes, so make sure you are subscribed, and of course, don't forget that we'll have a special Thanksgiving episode the Wednesday before the holiday. I always get excited at this time of year when we start building to the big Strickfield story arcs. Rob and I are sending text messages back and forth a lot, coming up with what we want to do with it. It's just an awesome time, and if you love what Strickfield is doing here on Weekly Spooky, well, don't you worry. There's a plenty more where that came from. And if you want to support it directly, head over to weeklyspooky.com and click on Patreon And speaking of Patreon, I want to say an extra special thank you to our Patreon podcast boosters, folks who pay just a little bit more to hear their name on the show. And we have a brand new Patreon podcast booster, Mr. John Kalin. Thank you so much, John, for joining up with these other fine folks: Johnny Nix, Bobbletopia.com, Megan Hua, Julia Kirsch, Brent McCullough, Steve King, Karen Weemet, Jack Kerr, Craig Cohen. Thank you all so much for your support, and if you want to join them, just go to weeklyspooky.com, click on Patreon, and I'll tell you right now, if you join for as little as $1 a month, in the coming months we're going to begin a 12-part series that takes place in Strickfield, which will be exclusively for Patreon backers. So if that doesn't make you want to join, I don't know what will. But all that being said, my friends, I'll be back to talk to you real soon. So until then, for myself, for my executive producer Rob Fields, my producer Dan Wilder, and my composer Ray Mattis, I'll talk at you later.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to find your way back next week. But for now, you are safe. Trust me.